Today, we're ranking Deku's quirks from worst to best.
Oh no, this looks bad!
Now, Deku had a lot of quirks by the end of My Hero Academia, and honestly, he mastered some of them ridiculously fast. But today, we're not ranking them based on potential. We're ranking them based on how effective they actually were in combat, hero work, and how well Deku used them. Let's get into it. Number 7. Smokescreen. Smokescreen is one of those quirks that's really good for escape and confusion, but not great for direct combat. It allows Deku to fill an area with thick smoke, blocking enemy vision, and creating opportunities to move or reposition. The downside, though, is that it can also get in his own way if he overuses it. Even Deku himself mentions that too much smoke can mess with his visibility and awareness. But when used properly, it's actually really good for stealth, rescues, and controlling the battlefield. So it's useful, just not something that wins fights on its own. Number 6. Float is pretty simple. It lets Deku levitate and fly, which sounds amazing at first, but on its own it's actually pretty limited. Float doesn't really give him speed or combat power by itself. Without pairing it with other quirks like Fajin or Black Whip, he's basically just hovering in the air. And yeah, Deku used it well when he combined it with his other abilities, especially during the Shigaraki fights. But by itself, it's more of a support quirk than a real game changer. Still useful. Number 5. Black Whip. Black Whip is honestly one of Deku's most versatile quirks. It lets him generate energy tendrils that act almost like extra limbs. He's used them to capture enemies, swing through the air, grab civilians, reinforce his arms, and even increase his mobility. At times, it almost feels like Deku has extra arms in combat. And the crazy part is how fast he learned to control it. Early on, it was wild and unstable, but by the end, he was using it almost like second nature. Honestly, if there's one quirk I wish Deku could have kept at the end of the story, it's probably Black Whip. Number 4. Fajin is where things start getting seriously powerful. This quirk allows Deku to store kinetic energy through repeated movements, then release it in a massive burst of speed or power. The only real downside is that it needs build-up first, but once that energy is stored, it basically lets Deku temporarily jump to insane levels of power, even simulating something close to 100%, one for all without destroying his body. And every time Deku used Fajin in the anime or manga, you could feel that sudden explosion of momentum. It's a very simple ability, but incredibly effective. Number 3. Danger Sense. Danger Sense is honestly one of the most broken support quirks in the series. It alerts Deku whenever there is hostile intent or incoming danger, almost like a spider sense. That means attacks from behind, above, or outside his field of vision become much harder to land. Now combine that with Deku's speed and mobility, and suddenly, he becomes extremely hard to hit. The only real drawback is that it reacts to intent, meaning chaotic situations with lots of hostility can overwhelm him. But overall, this quirk massively increases his survivability in combat. Number 2. Gear Shift. Gear Shift might actually be the most broken quirk Deku has besides One for All itself. It allows him to change the speed of objects and even his own body, essentially ignoring normal acceleration limits. This means Deku can suddenly move or strike at speeds that completely break the laws of physics. The downside is the heavy strain afterward, which leaves him temporarily exhausted and unable to move properly. But while it's active, Deku becomes ridiculously fast and unpredictable, and if he could spam it without consequences, fights would honestly end in seconds. Number 1. One for All. And yeah, obviously, number 1 is One for All. This quirk is the foundation of everything Deku can do. It gives him immense strength, speed, durability, and power, and it's what allows all the other quirks to function at such a high level. At 100%, One for All basically turns Deku into a force of nature. The only problem throughout the series was that his body couldn't handle its full power at first. But if Deku had complete control over it from the beginning, honestly, One for All alone would already make him one of the strongest heroes in the world. Just look at All Might in his prime. That's the perfect example of what One for All can really do. What would your ranking of Deku's quirks look like? Let me know in the comments. And if you actually agree with my list,